Good morning, good evening, Mr. X's class. I'm here to talk about the word entity. It's a noun, and so the definition says a thing that exists separately from other things and has its own identity. But that's not, that definition maybe doesn't really tell you how to use the word very much. Because you might, when do you use that? A thing that's separate from other things. I think there are really two situations where we use this word a lot. One is we use it for like spirits or demons or supernatural beings, and so it's a thing. It means that entity is not like it's not specific. It's not like if I said a ghost. That's more specific. An entity is just an unspecified like scary thing that's out there, kind of. A lot of times scary. A spirit. I suppose it could be positive. It could be a good spirit, but I think it's often used in like horror movies, horror stories for something scary. So, for example, the exorcist forced the evil entity to leave her body. Okay, that could be a sentence. And then another one which makes more direct sense with the definition is it could be used as a legal term, and this is being separately from other things. As a legal term. So it describes a company or an association or an agency or something. And when you use the word entity, it means that usually we often say it with the word separate. We say it's a separate entity. And that means that one company or association or something is separate. You want to emphasize that it's separate from the other one. It's not, you're talking about two companies or two associations and you're saying they're not part of the same thing. They are separate from each other, legally separate. So, for example, Escuela Popular, we have charter schools have we have an agreement with the school district. That's how we get our money. But we're not, charter schools kind of can make their own rules in some ways. So we have our own district. We have we're technically separate from the district, from the school district. We have an agreement with the school district, but we're not really directly part of it. So, Escuela Popular is a separate entity from the school district. Or you can make a sentence with like different companies. McDonald's is a separate entity from Burger King. They're competing against each other, like something like that. They're not part of the same company. Or you could use the word to say also, you could say like the two companies are part of one entity. That means like one bigger company. You can say that. But an entity is like a separate it's usually association, organization, company, something like that. So, and think about whether something is part of another company or association or separate from. That's when we use the word entity to talk about that. Is it separate or not? It's used in like legal documents, contracts, things like that, to talk about that. So in Spanish, entidad, which I think people were saying that's often used for like similar like supernatural spirits and stuff, right? Ser, a being. So no word families. Synonyms. Being or thing, it's very general. Maybe we could add spirit. And here's a sentence with if anybody's a fan of the Lord of the Rings. Sauron in Lord of the Rings is the evil, the evil boss. He's an evil spirit. He's not like a person. He's an evil spirit. He's an evil entity that takes the shape of a giant burning eye on top of the tower. So you could use the word entity because Sauron is an evil spirit. So yeah, basically I would say, this is the definition, but if you really want to think about how to use the word, look at these notes. That will be more helpful than the definition. So, are there questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you for filming.